been a little bit. I've been busy. I booked a show. Dakota again, by the way. Um, yeah, I booked a free show for the community, and I filled in with another band, and it was a lot of fun. In the meantime of that, I've been very disappointed in the Schecter. So I got this for an insane deal. This is a 2004 uh, just standard Strat. It's made in Mexico. It is completely stock except for the output, which I'll get into that in a second. And then I put Fender locking tuners on it. But this is made in Mexico. This is a 2004 in a dark wine red. And this is the first year for the Mexican Strats to have HH. And these humbuckers aren't that hot. They were like just below 9 for each. And I don't know what magnets they are. But the American version of this came out the year before in 2003. These were very short-lived, so were the American ones. I think the American ones ended in 2007 and these ended in 2006. I'm going to double check that. But these only ran for 3 years before they just updated the name and it wasn't a standard anymore. It was something else. And that was just how Fender operates. Because like currently, my blue telly that I did all the Esquire stuff to is a player. They already had a player too, and I don't even know what they're on now, being honest. But in general, really beat up. Tons of nicks on the neck. The body has just nicks on it. You can see that little, it's not so little actually. And then it feels like it's going to come up right here. Mismatched backplate. Everything was stock when I got it. These guitars had mono jacks, and I made a TikTok showing that I got it like day of, and if you wiggled it just slightly, it like ungrounded and it just buzzed like crazy. So what I like to do with a lot of my guitars is if I have that issue, I put a stereo jack in. And I know it's overkill for a lot of people and it makes it really tight, but it doesn't move. And I'm not a Strat fan, but I've never had issues with the jacks on Strats before. So it was just this one. So I had to use a Dremel and carve out underneath here a little bit, like enough to like fit the tip of my knuckle in. And because when you put the stereo jack in, even if you rotate it certain ways, it kept hitting and you couldn't put the plate on. And I've never faced that before, so I just dremeled a little bit. I got it going. These are newer locking tuners for Fender. They have like the two little vampire teeth looking mounts, but direct fit. So they've been using this style of tuner for quite a while, and it looks like this style of tuner was even on my Fender Flame, and that's from the 80s. So definitely a really cool guitar. My voice just randomly shot out on me, which is fun. I have this set up in D standard, and I'm finally comfortable with my selection of gear, like string wise. I have this for E, D, C, not C standard, but like drop C. And the lowest I'll probably take this is like C sharp standard. And I just use 9 to 46. And then from here, my C standard guitar is the Fender Flame, which only stays in C standard. And then my blue telly lives in B standard, but I'll drop the top string down to A if I need to. And then I really don't tune lower than that. And then bass wise, Charvel 1B, it's like a P bass, but a super P bass, like a shredder. And then I have my MB5, which is like my main go-to. That's actually what I used live recently. Torpedo as usual. I'm actually running just an SD1 as a boost in the normal setting, not the Waza mode, and then a Century. And I'm playing through my Laney GH50L. This is the newest head for me, and this is my live head going forward. I sold the Game Baby because I got this. I had them both for a little bit, but this thing absolutely rules. I wanted to have a tube head to use live. I thought 50 watts would be ideal in case something goes wrong. It's easier and cheaper to swap tubes. I have a set of tubes on the side right now for just in case, and it was like 160 something shipped for two EL34s and then the four 12 AX7s. But yeah, absolutely love this head. It's honestly like not really a lot like the JCM 800 because you obviously have more gain, but this is way more low end focused. It has that sag that orange amps have. Like you can get it tight, but really, really happy with that head. And I got that head for less than I got this. I think I got that head for like $380 shipped, and this was $400 shipped. But this was literally just, I wanted a 6 to have in higher tunings just so I can play around, and yeah, very happy with this because it is super worn, super played. I wouldn't consider it loved, but this is something realistically, if I really would have grinded in high school, I could have had. And it's not that far off from like the Schecter price wise and stuff, like in that grand scheme of things. And I would have rather had this, but I was so caught up in that. I thought this was unobtainable at the time because none of my friends had stuff like this to trade, or no one in the scene had stuff like this to trade. So like getting something to this level was just not a feasible thing for me. But very, very happy with this thing. This thing was a huge headache at first, and yeah, I love the Mexican Fender stuff so much. I love Japan stuff too, obviously. I have the bass and the flame, but I have absolutely no complaints about this Strat or the Esquire build. The Esquire build is obviously my baby. I put the most effort into that. It's had 4 different necks on it. But yeah, this, leaving alone, and I didn't plan on doing that until I started learning more about it. But the little Fender style like mounting, because this is common on like Seymour Duncans and stuff nowadays, but the neck pickup is just weird, and that's how my Fender Flame is set up too. Don't hate it, but leaving it stock until this thing dies, and once it dies I'll just throw just like a distortion in it. But I definitely want to keep it as close to original as possible, because my first thought was Super Strat, but then I was like, oh, it's just gonna look like a Tom DeLonge thing, and I don't want that. Like, no hate towards Tom DeLonge, but it's just one of those, like, I got that enough when I first built that thing that it like faded away, and like people don't bring it up now. But it's annoying when you hear that but you don't play music like that. But very, very happy. Alder body, maple neck, rosewood fingerboard, original frets because no one would refret this thing, but some flat spots. I've had issues with any intonation yet, but very happy. And surprisingly, like, they're like, no one put thick strings on this before, and that's something I always look for whenever I get a guitar with humbuckers, is to see like what they did to the nut. And this has a really small nut to start with, but I'm so used to seeing people file down that first one to fit like a 62 or something, and really nice seeing this. There's a little chunk missing by the high D, and there's some small cracking around the F, and I'm using the names of the strings for what it's tuned to. I'm not one of those people that's just going to always speak in concert E. I'm not a complete nerd. But yeah, super, super happy with this. Inside the torpedo, I'm using just a 1960B with T75s, and then just a single SM57, because that's basically my live cab. And I don't have my board up here, but yeah, it's damn close to what my live sound is. And I was just playing with my Tele right before this, but I'm gonna noodle some more. And yeah, very, very happy with how this has gone, and just having this, because I've had this for about 2 or 3 weeks now. It's hard to tell anymore. I get lost and stuff, and I'll make a video for like the future, and then like I got caught up in doing the show stuff, so I haven't posted in a couple weeks. But yeah. And keep in mind, when you do play with a torpedo, there's a gate inside the app. So I'm double gated basically, and when you use the gate inside the app, it's basically like using one behind going into the cab, which doesn't make sense at all unless you've done it before. Like, it's not for cabling, it's a completely separate gate. And just having two very different independent gates makes this so stable. And I still get all those beautiful harmonics, just the... And not a very hot pickup to start with. But I love this color. I don't love it as much as like other guitars I have, but I like it more than my MB5. That red is just obnoxious to me. But I'll never see like another clean MB5. Also, just having like a junk guitar. I know this isn't junk, but like having like a real beater makes me just feel good again. Because when you have just like, such a first world problem saying that, but like when you have like too much nice stuff, you get like conditioned to like a certain extent. And I'll grab this and I'll be like, oh, I want this feeling again. I want to feel like from like a certain, like when I play in D standard, I want to feel like I have a guitar that I had in high school. I don't want to feel like the Fender Flame. Need a strap for it, just something cheap. But also, the only reason I play classical is because I grew up with a Flying V, and it's not because like I'm good or anything, because I'm obviously like not like I'm good enough for a hardcore band, but like I've gotten like questions about that before, why I don't sit like everyone else with it just like hanging over. And one of my first guitars that I had for the longest was a V, and then I started trading, and I just kept sitting like that. I've only had like 2 Vs, so like it shouldn't be that comfortable to me, but it's just the most comfortable way to sit. But yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm very, very happy with this thing. If you find one, grab it, because this is a hell of a guitar for the money. And you see most humbucker strats start touching 600s, so like I don't know how newer ones would play with their bridge pickup, but I imagine it can't be that bad. I forget the guy's name from Obituary, but he just plays a stock Strat. He does that and a Rat into a JCM 800, and that's his whole tone. Like, he doesn't even swap the humbucker unless he has to. But yeah, he does play American Strats, so they might have Shawbuckers or something in them. But a Shawbucker's really not that great of a pickup to start out with. Like, I would much rather have like most Epiphone pickups than like a Shawbucker. Like, I've been more pleased with Epiphone pickups than just that specific like humbucker. And I was just expecting to hate these, but it gets the job done. Definitely happy, and the wife doesn't hate this one. But yeah, thank you for watching. I'm gonna do a couple more noodles and then just head out.